Hello, everyone. My name is Nessa Firmo. I'm your host of Fangirls Only. This week, our special guest is Nolan Hubbard. So, how are you
Hello,
doing
hello.
today? So,
I'm
what's
doing
your...
pretty good. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
It's like, it's okay. So, is there any influences or artists that have shaped your music style?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Jack Johnson. He was kind of the first guy who made me want to pick up a guitar, an acoustic guitar, more specifically, and sing. I was always a big fan of classic rock music growing up. So artists like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Fleetwood Mac. Those were, some of my very first influences. But over the years, I think Jack Johnson was really a guy who stuck out to me as somebody who I wanted to just wanted to make music like. And another guy was John Mayer, who always has inspired me heavily as a guitar player. So I'd say those are my two biggest idols, I guess you could say.
So, I bet you have seen that the music industry has changed a lot over the past few years with streaming and social media. So, how have you adapted to those changes in your career?
Absolutely. I think I've always been a little bit more of a purist, you could almost say. Like I grew up again on a lot of that classic rock. So um, you know, bands playing real music, and that was the kind of come up back in those days, was you know playing a bunch of shows and that kind of thing. And that's always kind of what I've done. So it has been a little bit of a interesting transition. Trying to get into social media, and I was always a little shy of getting on camera and making content per se. But I've kind of found my enjoyment in it. I've learned a little bit that there's lots of room for someone who likes to do what I do, to find a place on there. Like, I can share the content from my shows, and it's something I've been doing recently and really enjoying.
So, how do you deal with criticism or hate when it comes to your music?
It's always been tricky. I'm only human, so I definitely sometimes can take a negative comment or even just like a dislike on a video to heart a little bit. But at the end of the day, I've also learned that out of all the people in the world, not everybody can like what your music is, or even just who you are, and uh, that kind of thing. So I've learned to take it all in stride a little bit, where I can't please everybody, so I'm just gonna try my best, and uh, that's all you can do.
So, is there any song of yours that you wish that you would rewrote? Or I don't know if that kind of makes a sense.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. That is, yeah, you know what? That's an interesting one. The first song that I ever produced and released on my own is a song called Always, on my Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff. Sometimes when I go back and listen to some of my early production work, I could picture myself doing it better, I suppose. But I've also learned to appreciate the being able to see the progress.
Mm.
And yeah, it was nice. I was talking to a friend actually about that song, and it's one of their favorite songs of mine, which is a very sweet thing of them to say. And it kind of reminded me that, just because I, was younger and less experienced at producing at the time, doesn't mean it wasn't good.
Yeah, makes sense. So, do you have any favorite songs of yours to perform live? Because I know you've had some shows recently over the past few weeks.
Yeah, I would say that my song Alpha has been really fun to play lately. I just kind of fell off my set list and I was playing other songs, but that song definitely, um, that song, I don't know, it made a comeback this year, and at the end of last year, and it's just one of my favorite things to play lately. So it's this fun kind of reggae thing, and Um, I've been playing with some new tools in my live setup, like a new looper pedal, where I get to kind of play with more sounds, like actually use drums and bass and all that stuff, and it kind of made me fall in love with that song again.
All right. So, is there any dream goals that you want to achieve in your career? Like selling out like a stadium or something?
Hmm. I think that my goal has always been that I would just love to be able to travel more with my music. I don't have any I don't have any uh, grand, I guess, milestones that I would need to hit to feel like I've done what I want to with my music. But I think that if I had to name one, it would maybe just be going on a tour of Europe. That would be that would be amazing, even if it was, a small tour where I played the same kind of places that I play here in Canada. Yeah, I just love to see the world with my music. That's the most I could ever ask for.
Yeah, exactly. So, can you walk us through a little timeline throughout your music career?
Yeah, so okay, I got my first guitar when I was 11 years old, and I started just playing in my bedroom for years. I'm mostly self-taught, but I did take some lessons when I was in elementary school and high school, and I'm very glad that I got that one-on-one kind of feedback from people. But for the most part, it was just me and YouTube over the years, like learning stuff off YouTube and playing along with my favorite, rock songs and that kind of thing. I was like in kind of an almost metal band when I was in high school.
Oh,
And I didn't start singing until I was 17. So for the first couple of years, it was all just, shredding on the guitar. Like that was what I wanted to do. Then I hit 17. I joined a musical actually in high school. And that was the first time I had to sing on stage. And that kind of got me out of my shell a little bit for sure. And then the last year of high school, I bought an acoustic guitar and started doing the singer songwriter kind of thing, and started writing my first songs and that kind of thing. And then when I was 18, I left high school and I moved out to Toronto for a couple of years. And uh, one of the first connections I made in Toronto was with a producer named Doug Romano, and we made my first album together, which came out
no.
in 2017. And it was a really incredible experience. I was just writing I'd maybe written 10, 12 songs at the time, and I got to go down to Nashville and, make music with all the people down there and do a couple of writing sessions and just see what, the highest level of the industry was like. Um, and that was an incredible experience. And then we came back to Toronto and did a little more recording here. And then, yeah, we went and put that album out in 2017. And then since then, uh, over the years, since 2017, like I've been producing my own music and learning how to do that. And, lately I feel like I've really kind of put in the hours over the last couple of years and feel really, proud about some of the music I'm making now. And so, yeah, it's just been a lot of singles over the last couple of years, but I just put out an EP this past year. So that was kind of my first collection of songs in almost 10 years, wow, 8 years or so. But yeah, no, it was my first collection of songs in a while. And I'm thinking that by the end of this year, I'll have another, either an EP or maybe a full album out. So yeah, it's been a long journey for sure. Over the years, I have mostly made my living by playing shows and being a gigging musician. So I play on average probably 4 or 5 nights a week at bars, at restaurants. But I do a lot of busking during the summers and stuff. Part of me is thinking I should move to a sunnier place because it's been really cold in the last little bit,
Yeah.
and I miss the going out and meeting people that way. But I also do a lot of weddings. It's something that
Oh,
I've done a ton in my career, and that's a really fun little uh, different part of my music career because You
Mhm.
gotta kind of play a different kind of music, and you gotta dress up and the whole thing. So
Kind of
um,
network somehow.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I've done a little bit of all of it, but lately I've been just back to gigging full time and playing a bunch of shows every week and producing a lot of music, both for myself and now I'm working with a lot of friends on music. So that's been a lot of fun.
Right. So that was all the questions. So thank you so much for coming on. It's great having you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time, and I thank you to anybody who tuned in and go check out my music, I guess. And
Yes, go check them out. Bye. Have a great day.
you too. See ya.